Yesterday we spent an hour trying to get my laptop to talk to the video system and failed. So today I've given up and we're just going to do these old school. So big pictures, small screen. I'll wave it around. There's not an awful lot to see. It's very short, so appreciate all the effort went into the previous talks. This is really, really short, and all it is 4 different things I just wanted to get a chance to talk about. Of no great consequence at all to anybody, but might be interesting. Right, first up, I'm one of the handful of people here who are gluten-free. I just want to say thank you to people who did all the getting the food in to get some gluten-free. There's a preponderance of cakes in the gluten-free, and I would just say, piece of feedback to those people getting the gluten-free, apples are gluten-free. They're really, just like in passing, you can also get gluten-free, which is fruit and stuff. So next time, there's a healthier option possibly than just like sugary bars, which is nice that they are, but anyway, right. Second thing, I don't know if you can see that. For some of you, this might be familiar. EE's best image add-on by far. Right. Coming soon, Image Pro will be Image successor. It will be here probably later in this quarter, as they say, or sometime towards the end of October, maybe early November. I just wanted to let people know it's coming, and I want to talk a bit about how it's different to what we have at the moment. And the reason why, I'll explain why I'm asking that question in this forum. Now, when we get there, I'm not going to show you anything because you wouldn't see it on here anyway. It's hard enough to see it on here. I just want to talk about it. So, can we get this to move forward? Okay, under the hood, what's different about Image Pro? Behind the scenes, it's been completely rewritten from the ground up. Image Pro is EE7 add-on compliant and all that sort of nonsense. And so it's actually completely new stuff compared to what was there before. The old EE has been around, Image rather, has been around since 2021. It had 4 major versions over that time, 52 point updates, around about 1 a month since then. And the code base for Image is a little bit straggly, a little bit stuff, and it's all set up to support EE5. So Image currently will go from EE5 through to EE7. Image Pro is looking forward, and it's EE6 and 7 compatible, but it won't do 5. So the old version will carry on being around should people need it, until people don't want to use it anymore. Another change in this new version is because of changes in the way the code base works, it's more extendable and lets me do more stuff. Anyway, so it's changing in practical terms. Image, the first version, was backward compatible with CE image, for those people who remember CE image. Right, so all you needed to do was change your tag from CE image to JCOGS image, and everything carried on working just as it did before. Image Pro is backward compatible with image. So all you need to do is change your tag from image, JCOGS image to JCOGS image Pro, and everything just carries on working just like it did before. Okay. Main difference is the new Image Pro is around about 5% faster than old image, so a little bit faster for uncached files. If you send it like a new a tag and it's processing image for the first time, it's around about 5% faster than the old one. If Image Pro is processing a cached image, it's around 6 times faster than image. So image already is really fast for handling cached images because most of the time that's what you do, and most people want their site to be really fast. One of the side effects of the change in the way in which the new version of image works is that handling of cached images has been completely rethought, redone, and it's much, much faster than before. You won't notice it's probably because 6 times faster from a very small number is still a very small number. So it's not going to transform your site. If it's slow because of other reasons, it will be slow for other reasons. But if your site is image intensive, you'll see a difference because the cache processing is just way better than it was before. Cached processing is 6 times. It does the same job in 1/6 of the time that the old one did. If you're interested in the tedious details, it can generate cached images with less memory, so it uses less server memory to process the work, and it uses less than 1 database access per image to display this stuff. Compared to image is relatively memory intensive, and it uses about 4 database accesses per image to get the image onto the page. Okay, so that's under the hood. Features. I've done some work to improve what image will do, and there are 3 things which I just wanted to highlight today as like, ooh, good things coming sort of thing. One is, for some users, and all these 3 things are issues which a small number of vocal users have come across over the last 5 years, and I'm responding to that small number of vocal users. One is you can define preset sets of parameters. So rather than having a great long string of parameters in your tag for what you want it to do, you can, in the control panel for the add-on, define a set of parameters, configure them, give them a name, and it has a live preview of what you're doing, so you can see what the effect would be on an image as you do it. Save it, and then you can just change all your list of parameters to one parameter that says preset equals whatever the name of your preset is, and it will go and fish that out and use that instead. And you can overwrite it, so you can have a preset, and then you can add more parameters after that, and if you add more parameters, they will overwrite whatever's in the preset, so you have a lot of control. So one is presets. Second is it has the ability to define an arbitrary number of named cache directories in the control panel. So at the moment, image lets you talk to different kinds of file adapters, so you can have local and then 3 cloud adapters, all based on Amazon's S3 protocol. In the new version of image, you can have as many of those as you want, and each can have a different cache directory attached to it. And you can process, when you're processing your site, you can change the location of where the images go on a per tag basis within the same template even. So if you want your one image to come from S3 and another image to come from local and another one to come from DO spaces and another one to come from Cloudflare's 1R2, you can have them all going on at the same time on the same page, and image will just handle all that for you without any kind of complaint effort. So big change, and if you want to set it up so you've got 4 different local cache directories, so some process images go to one place and some go to another, that's all possible too and can be managed. The associated interface to manage how you work with the cached files you've got has been upgraded and improved, so it makes it much easier to see what files you've got where, and you can fiddle about with them more easily. Third thing I wanted to draw to your attention is image now is indifferent about whether you call it from a tag or as a variable modifier. So you can, if you prefer using it as a variable modifier, you can run the new image as a variable modifier. Works exactly the same way. As far as image is concerned, it doesn't really know the difference. It will run the same process to get you the output, but it's there for those people who are wanting to use variable modifiers. Okay, so far so good. Coming soon. This one, it's harder to see. So one of the reasons why I'm doing all of this work is just for the fun of it. Just as an asterisk, although images are paid for add-on, I'd like to say it maybe covered some of its costs over the years, but it's not in any way a business that makes any sense at all. So I do this for the fun of it, rather than because it somehow leads to me getting a Porsche one day in the future. And anyway, that leads to me doing stuff which is even unlikely to be useful too. But anyway, so one of the reasons I've made the changes is to allow me to play around with what else you can do with the basis, the engine that drives image along. And coming soon, probably towards the end of this year, or the beginning of next year, if you can read that, is an image pro field type. And the image pro field type addresses another group of people who've been complaining at me for 5 years about, and what the field type is aiming to do, or is doing, but will be done in public, is to extend EE's file field type. So it's not a replacement for the file field type, it's an extension to the file field type. And the purpose of it is to do things to let you like read and write EXIF data, if that's what you want to do. And also to do things like when you're putting a field into a channel, to allow you to attach a preset set of parameters to it, to allow you when you upload files, and maybe that's coming anyway from the file field type, but if not, to do things like dynamic cropping and picking focus points and so on and so forth. So it gives you the ability to talk to image, and if you're going to use image to process your image into the template when you get on to use it, it'll give you the chance to make some of those choices ahead of time. And if you are designing the template, so building the channel, you can get some degree of control. And one of those bits of control is you can allocate one or more presets to that field type. And if you have more than one field type, more than one preset, then the users can pick from a list of your chosen presets. So if you can say, you can have it, if you want it to be black and white, you can choose black and white from the preset. If you're the designer, you don't want that option, you just don't give them that option. And that gives you a degree of sort of meta control over what people do. At the moment, if you give people the ability to put a file into a template, you don't really have an awful lot of control over what they're putting in and what they do with it. This is to give you a little bit more of a power tool to say, you can do some things to it, but not a lot of things, okay, or whatever. Or you can say a lot of things if you want to have a lot of things. Anyway, so the field type is coming soon. So that's all coming soon. So if you're interested, the reason why I'm asking you to pay attention to this is it hasn't yet been released. It's currently in beta testing. And I'm very grateful to the half dozen or so of you, most of you who aren't here at the moment, but the half dozen or so of you here who have been working on beta testing this over the last month and a half, 2 months. The feedback I've got from the beta testing group has been immensely useful and is helpful. However, if there is something that you have been wanting to get into image and have never had the chance to say, oh, if only it did this, catch me before the end of today, and I'll make a note of what you say. And I can't guarantee it'll get into the release version, but it'll be nice to have your thoughts about the things you'd really like image to do, so that we can add that to the feature request list for the product going forward. Okay, so far so good. Right, next one. Last night's little shindig was set up by Yeli and I with a little bit of skullduggery with the committee organizing the conference, and I hope you had a nice time. I certainly did, and I thought, although it's nice to sound as though we had any influence over it or not, I thought the people who chose the venue and set it all up did a fabulous job, so kudos to them too. The reason we were wanting to make some sort of noise is we are conscious, and have been for some time, there's a whole bunch of people who work on EE who are based in Europe who we just don't know about. We're sort of like an invisible group that's a subgroup lurking within the EE community. And it would be more useful for the people who live in Europe if we actually had some idea who else is around and who's working on what and where they are. And Yeli and I, between us, know quite a few of those people across a dozen or so countries across Europe, but actually there's a whole lot of more people we haven't yet reached. And at one point, Yeli, I think it was, asked one of the conference organizers, have you got a list of who's in Europe working on EE? And I said, no, we thought you had one. And one of the things we're trying to do is to build up that understanding and build up a community of interest amongst people who are working on ExpressionEngine, who happen to be based in the 28 countries that nominally make up Europe at the moment. So if you are here and you come from one of those countries and you are interested in participating in that community, please let Yeli or I know, or contact us via Slack, or all those things that you do. If you know of people who we should be talking to get them interested, and it's not like a big commitment. We're not going to ask you for money. We're not going to demand that you come to conferences or anything like that. It's just, if you are known about, then it makes it easier for messages to be got to you. It makes it easier for us to share insights and talk about issues So for example, one thing that was been an issue for the European developers, but not for the US developers for the last 4 or 5 years, is GDPR and how that varies between countries. So if you're doing GDPR in Germany, it's quite a different deal to doing GDPR in the UK, for example. And those issues are relevant to us in Europe, not at all relevant to anybody from anywhere else on the planet. Okay, so if you know of people who we should be including in that trawl for people who might want to join this community, please do let us know that too. Okay, that's the third one. Fourth one, I did think briefly about trying to get this up on the screen, but I thought, well, we've got no sound system, so it's no good to you at all. So I've done it in big letters. If you're bored and you've got an internet connection, go and look at this YouTube. Okay, so there's a number there, you can photograph it or something. This is a video or a clip of a video from 1979. And sitting here today, particularly today, listening to you natter on about MCP servers and how it's all going to be great in the future and everyone's going to be able to have a job, it reminded me of this video from 1979. Okay, and this was a video that was put together by people in 1979 about then what the issue was, which was chips and technology coming. And I thought some of you, if you've got a suitably ironic sense of humor, might find this this video one that you would find entertaining. Okay, so and that's my bit done. Thank you very much. Okay.